Tim, case studies from your point of view. Do you have? Can you share anything with us? Either name the client or don't. I don't care, but give us an example of something where you really hit it home, and then we can actually
Yeah, I think
we'll point these people to your case studies on the sites.
yeah. We've worked with a lot of brands across lots of industries. A lot of this work was stuff that I did before film and content, before I actually started partnering up with production companies. And then obviously over the last 2 years, has been more kind of coming into the mix. I think the one that helps me explain it best is one that we delivered for a non-profit over here in the UK. So it's a charity called St. John Ambulance, and their mission is really just to help educate people as to first aid and to what to do in certain situations. So talking through the strategy there, so we had like 60, 70 videos in our awareness stage campaign. And these were all like what to do in this situation, how to do this, how to give CPR, how to treat a burn, how to do all of these things. And the strategy was that when something happened in the media that got a lot of attention, St. John Ambulance would be armed with these videos that they could distribute. And they built kind of media relationships with a lot of kind of like the UK's broadcast channels and TV networks and things to distribute, what to do in those situations when there's a lot of public attention on these things. So there was an instance, actually quite a sad story, sad story, but there was a young kid who choked on a grape in a Pizza Hut over here, and it got a lot of media attention. All the TV networks were reporting on it. So through that relationship with the St. John Ambulance, they were able to share the video of what to do, with a choking baby. And it's just a very simple instructional video. So they were able to distribute that. This is where we talk about the power of video. That video overnight got 21 million views organically. It was just pushed out there. But bringing this back into a strategy. So obviously St. John Ambulance, they're achieving one of their core missions to educate, parents and caregivers of young children, right? But then what they were able to do is that anyone that engaged with those videos, the 21 million people, literally overnight, they were then able to educate them as to what they do as a charity. So that they were able to, talk them through and retarget them with videos that, show the good work that St. John Ambulance do. And ultimately, they had their decision stage content, which was more donation-led, because they need funds to survive. They need funds to achieve their core mission. So the decision stage videos were then served to people who showed an interest into what they were doing. And, and there was a cause that related to them. So that then was one of their most successful campaigns. They made tens of millions of pounds in terms of donations, whilst being able to educate a huge audience.
How did that conversation come about? So you had this video that went viral, and then did you say, my God, we got to do something more with this? Or
well, no, because everything was set up in the first place. So the ad budget went up because there was a lot more people to reach, but everything was set up. So you've got, you had your videos, and anyone that engaged with those videos would be retargeted, and it would take them through that process. But obviously, when you get 21 million views in an organic video, that's where you can really ramp up the ad budget you need to reach all of those people. But I think the most powerful thing was that they saw the return. They were able to make that decision to say, right, okay, yes, this is, I don't like to say opportunity because it's, it's a pretty somber situation. But this is an opportunity for us to raise those funds that we need to continue doing what we're doing. And this is what I mean when I talk about the power of video. So if you think of it from a for-profit perspective, like so if you're a marketing director for a brand, the awareness stage, there's a whole heap of brand awareness. So you're ticking that box. So you're getting your name out there, you're getting your content out there. Like naturally you get traffic off that. Even though it's video views, you're getting traffic, you're getting people visiting your social channels. So that's really powerful. And then also you've got the other end of the mechanism, which is the stuff that's designed to convert people. So, you're actually driving new sales or kind of sales qualified leads or whatever it might be, whatever the campaign might be. But you're really leveraging, you're getting all the juice out of your investment into video because of the way in which these campaigns are structured and the way in which video strategies need to be structured in 2026, without dating this episode.
Tim, you mentioned, so this was a nonprofit that you worked with. All the production partners you have, we all kind of have our own niche, and I'm a union guy, I work with labor organizations, and the clients I've had to date, we haven't actually implemented the strategy stuff, but I'm convinced that it would be great for them. Can you give me sort of their goals certainly are not, they're not selling widgets, and they're nonprofit by nature. So, but what they want is more engagement, more people to see what they've got. Can you tell me how our strategy would apply to that kind of a nonprofit strategy?
Yeah, I mean, you just go big on the awareness stage. And again, tapping into the power of video, you're letting the ad platform promote that video content to a big audience, a big, broad audience, and you're doing it at a fraction of the cost. So you go big on the awareness stage. I'm sure they still do need people to take some kind of action. Like there's still going to be a reason that they want people to engage with that video content. And that's obviously, that's going to be different for every type of client, every type of brand, every type of organization. I think the way in which we get to that is that we always ask one simple question. They say, look, if we were sat down 6 months' time looking back at this project, what would have to have happened for you to view this as a success? And the answer to that question is ultimately, their key goal for that campaign. And then what we're able to do is build this kind of work backwards from that goal to map out the strategy. And that also dictates all the things that we're going to be tracking throughout that strategy being set up.